We're getting new details in the murder of a 22-year-old Georgia student, Laken Riley, that's sparking massive outrage after ICE officials confirmed that her alleged killer was in the country illegally. Critics are blaming Biden's open border policies for the death of this innocent young woman. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business, Cheryl Casoni. Fox News contributor and former State Department spokesperson, Marie Harf. And Fox News contributor and senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, Mark Thiessen. Well, we now know that the prime suspect charged in Laken Riley's murder was 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra. He's originally from Venezuela. He illegally entered the United States back in 2022. Ibarra previously lived in New York City for over a year, but in September, he was arrested and charged with child endangerment. And once the NYPD cut him loose, Ibarra packed his things and headed south. Now, some outraged lawmakers are pinning Laken Riley's death on President Biden and his failure to secure the border.
Biden and the Democrats' open border policy have allowed this man to come into our country, give him parole, and kill an innocent young woman.
This is what we've been asking for, and this is what we've been talking about for over 2 years now. In a recent September letter that the Republican governors wrote to the president and the administration, you know, who are these people? Where are you sending them? And we have yet to receive that information. And now something like this happens. Why are we allowing people to come here that are not U.S. citizens and break our laws and then not send them back home? These are the answers that we need to get from the Biden administration.
Stand by.
A lot of good questions there. I want to start by remembering Laken. This is her family statement. Laken was an amazing daughter, sister, friend, an overall person in general. Her love for the Lord was exemplified in every aspect of her life. She will be missed every day, but we promise to honor her life moving forward in a very big way. Every mother's heart breaks. Every mother immediately thinks it could have been my daughter. It could have been my son. It could have been my loved one. You know, Harris, I want to walk through the timeline. First, he enters the country. Let's give an exact date, September 8th, 2022. And here was our vice president that very same month. Let's watch.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration. But there are still a lot of problems that we are trying to fix, given the deterioration that happened over the last 4 years. We also have to put in place a law and a plan for a pathway for citizenship for the millions of people who are here and are prepared to do what is legally required to gain citizenship.
A month.
Yeah, so they just simply find the border secure because they want a different America. They want something different than the rest of us. And I don't think that it includes the type of security that we all thirst for, such that this would have been prevented. And so the question then becomes for the president to answer. I will say this. Can we get a different category of murder than malice and felony for a man who came across the border illegally if he did this? Can we get a different category of murder for a man who continued to have crimes, one in which involved a very young minor, child endangerment? Can we get a different category? Can we get a capital murder category for a man like that, since he's already broken our laws, which in the state of Georgia might include the death penalty? Can we get a different category that is a hate crime, because clearly he hates America? Clearly he does. He broke our laws to get here and allegedly has killed an American and endangered a child, an American child. So these are questions that I'm facing today, having covered this in breaking news. There are just so many details that lead me to say, deport him certainly, but if this administration won't do that, then can Georgia, with the help of federal government, go down a different road with these people? Because when they break our, it's true, when they break our law, when they're willing to go around the checkpoints, when they beat up cops, when they do things like that, not everybody, a small group, but then let's treat that small group with the respect of the greatest reaches of law that we have in this country.
Yeah, and despite crossing our border illegally, committing a crime, he's roaming the country freely and kills this young girl 6 to 8 weeks after Kamala Harris made that comment. Let's bring in Mayorkas. Here's what he had to say 6 to 8 weeks after a bar across the border.
Secretary Mayorkas, do you continue to maintain that the border is secure?
Yes, and we are working day in and day out to enhance its security.
I mean, do you think they regret the messaging here?
I think that Democrats have increasingly realized that this is not just a political problem, but a security problem, sort of a problem across the board. And what they would say to you today is that in the last month, Joe Biden has proposed the strongest immigration bill that any Democrat in history has ever supported. Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill negotiated it together, and the far right wing of the Republican Party said, no, wait, let me finish, Kayleigh.
He dismantled Trump's immigration policy, 94 executive actions.
Let me
pick
finish
up
what
the
I'm
pen?
saying.
It's very easy. I have one here. I'll loan it to
Kayleigh,
the president. Pick up the pen, take executive action. A girl is dead.
Because it is so much more effective across the board if we can get comprehensive immigration reform done in Congress.
Maybe we can't wait that long.
But Harris, why is it that Republicans have said they don't want to sign this because Donald Trump publicly told them not to?
Why is it that the Senate, by the way, had on Senator Marsha Blackburn last hour, H.R. 2 was in the Senate in May of last year. They've had 80
What about
meetings.
the current bill? What about the current bill?
No, you had an original bill.
What about the current bill?
That Senate Democrats wouldn't even look at.
What about
you
the
had 80
current
meetings
bill?
What about
where they
current
wouldn't
law,
talk about
Marie?
it.
But you're ignoring the current
What
bill.
about current law? Joe Biden does not need any more laws in order to enforce the border. He has all the authority that he needs to do it.
But he's asking for more, Mark.
But he doesn't need it. He's not.
You don't want to give it to him?
No, he's not exercising the authority he already has. This is not a crisis of a lack of law. This is a crisis of a crisis caused by a lack of will.
That's not true.
It's true. He has the same laws on the books that Donald Trump had when he was president. He has the same laws on the books that Barack Obama had when he was president, and they enforced the border. So why can't he enforce the border?
But
and that
answer
law
my
was
question
not.
about
No, I'm
this.
going to answer your
Answer my
question.
question.
How
I'm going to
long
answer your
can you
question
wait?
about this
You
law.
want more people
This
to die?
law would have weakened the hand of Donald Trump or another president coming in who wanted to secure
This
the
was the
border.
toughest
No, it
immigration
wasn't.
law.
That's a lie.
Explain to us how it was.
It's not true.
Explain to us how it would have fixed the problem.
Okay, so there's a number of things it would have done, including greatly reducing the amount of time people waited before they either got adjudicated and deported. It would have put more resources and more money towards the Border Patrol. That's why Republicans negotiated it.
But he can do that with his bully
Republicans
pulpit.
negotiated
He can do that with his bully pulpit.
Can I explain why it's
and
wrong?
so
He can do it
Donald
with the pen.
Trump came out and said, I want to run on this. He said this publicly. We all saw it, guys.
Marie.
And so Republicans said, no, we're going to not give the president all
Mark
of
and then
that.
Cheryl.
She does not. Joe Biden does not need any more authority.
But why
to
not
secure
give it to him?
Why don't you let me answer you? I'll let you speak. Now,
Yeah.
let me speak. Under 8 U.S. Code 1182, he has all the authority he needs to secure the border. In Trump versus Hawaii, the Supreme Court held that his authority entrusts the president with the decisions whether and when to suspend entry of aliens, whose entry to suspend, for how long, and under what conditions. They said the president has blanket authority to do this. If you had passed the law that they negotiated, it would have put conditions on that, because that would be the most recent law. It would supersede that. So instead, right now, the president could just shut down the border tomorrow and say nobody can come in. He has the power to do that.
Requires him to shut it down.
Let's get Cheryl in.
Let me
Yeah, I want you to get
Just
in
a
here,
quick,
too.
look, if we're going to talk about laws and law and order, let's go back to Jose Ibarra. You started the segment with that suspect. He also, the laws here in New York City have failed this student in Georgia too. Let's be clear, this is a national issue, but it's also a New York City issue. He was arrested. He was right back out in jail, no bail. And before ICE could even get a detainer for him, he fled to Georgia, and this led to the death of this young student. I want to point that first thing out. Number two, President Biden is coming to New York right now, and this is the center of a national policy that is now destroying a local city, and that is New York. And he's going to come and he's going to ask for a lot of money from a lot of wealthy people. Those same wealthy people are the ones that are saying enough You are destroying the city of New York. So there's a Democrat story to be talked about with the border. There's also one to be talked about
There's
here.
also a media
and we are
story.
failing.
I'll come to you, Harris, on this. We are failing. New York law is failing. Federal law is failing. The Biden administration is failing. I want to come to you on this AP headline because we want to get it in. The killing of a nursing student out for a run highlights the fears of solo female athletes. This particular story from the AP left out his immigration status, likewise left out the immigration status of Molly Tibbetts' killer. Irresponsible journalism.
Look, we saw this in New York. We've seen this in other times. What they're trying to do is just avoid the topic at all costs, because that would mean that they would have to cover this president in a very negative way. He is not winning in any way, shape, or form on this issue. And I'm not accusing the Associated Press of being part of the liberal legacy media. All I'm saying is don't act like it. So just a little bit of information about where the president is going on Thursday, because I think this is important. Brownsville, where he's going in Texas, is part of the Rio Grande Valley sector, and we want to thank Bill Maloogian for this, which has been dead slow for months now. It currently averages only between 200 and 400-ish encounters per day across the entire sector. So he's, again, not going to the hot spots. He's, again, going to see a forensically cleaned for him part of a border town. It's unbelievable. It really is.
It is. And I go back to very simple. 100 days, first 100 days of Biden, 94 executive actions to dismantle Trump's policies. Just put those actions back in place. Very, very simple.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.